Good morning, friends, and welcome. I'm Aaron Chapin, president of PSCA, the Pennsylvania State Education Association. It's my pleasure to serve as your MC today. We're here to lift up our voices for tens of thousands of retired public servants who dedicated their lives to serving our public school students and our Commonwealth citizens. And now in retirement, these folks, many in their 80s and 90s, are struggling to get by. They should be putting up their feet, enjoying retirement, spending time with their children, grandchildren, and yes, great-grandchildren. But instead, too many of them are worrying about how they will afford to put food on their table or pay for their medications. We're talking about the folks who retired before Act 9 of 2001. Before it went into effect, it's a state law that changed and enhanced public pensions in Pennsylvania. These pre-Act 9 retirees are receiving much smaller pensions based on the salaries they earned in the 90s and early 2000s. And they haven't gotten any type of cost of living adjustment to their pensions in more than 20 years. That's right, 20 years. That's 2 decades. We are fortunate to have some supportive lawmakers here today with us who want to do the right thing and provide a long overdue COLA to our pre-Act 9 retirees. But you know what? There are some other lawmakers in this building who don't want to do the right thing. How about we set their salaries back to 2001 levels?
There you go. There you go.
What do you think? How do you think they'd like that? I'm guessing not so much. Not very much at all. They wouldn't be willing. But that is what they are doing to more than 60,000 retired public servants through their inaction. Our pre-Act 9 retirees earn pensions that on average are less than $20,000 a year. And as a result of rising inflation, their buying power has declined by 40% over the last 2 decades. And with each passing year, it gets harder and harder for them to make ends meet. We're talking about a generation of public servants who spent their careers making our Commonwealth a better place to live, work, and yes, learn. They deserve a modest cost of living adjustment to their retirement income so that they can breathe easier, enjoy the time, be with their families, and yes, stay healthy. We're so thrilled to have supportive lawmakers with us here today, alongside all these great retirees behind me. Let's give it a hand for these retirees. We've got retirees, that's right. Retirees behind me, along with some really great advocates who are going to tell us how difficult it is for our pre-Act 9 folks after 2 decades of inflation and zero COLAs. Look, we may not be able to dock the pay of policymakers who are standing in the way of doing what's right, but we do have a voice, a loud voice, a booming voice, and we are going to speak as one to send a message to those policymakers that this is long past the time for them to step up and restore the promise of a secure retirement to our retired public servants. And again, that's why we're here today. Our pre-Act 9 retirees cannot wait any longer. And we're not going to stand by quietly. We need to do the right thing. So policymakers, do your jobs. Make this a priority that deserves to happen. So we have a great lineup of speakers here with us today. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome our first speaker to the podium, Senator Vincent Hughes, Minority Chair of the PA Senate Appropriations Committee.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's send a message. We give a damn about these retirees. I said it. I used that language because I'm not afraid of that. It is a crying shame. It is a crying shame that for over 20, almost a quarter of a century, that folks have gone without. Folks who put the good work in, who served all 12 million people of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They put the good work in. They did the service. They taught our children. They kept our communities safe and secure. They can't get any help. We're here to say we give a damn. We want to help them. And let's be clear, this we I'm speaking about is a bipartisan we, okay? How about that, all right? It is a bipartisan we. I got Senator Committer here. I got to speak about my senators. Senator Committer, Senator Muth, Senator Ferry, Senator Bartolotta. I see camera. And thank you on that other piece. Thank you on that other piece. Thank you. 63,000. 63,000 folks are sitting out there saying, wait a minute, I put my time in, I helped, I put my money into the retirement system, and it's not coming back. It's not meeting inflation. It's not hitting the number. I'm still struggling. I got local property tax increases. I got the bills going up. I got stuff going on, and I've been dealing with this for 24 years, and I need a little extra help. And they say that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is sitting on extra cash. That's what they say. I know I heard that from Patty Kim on a regular basis. Senator, you got extra cash up here in Harrisburg. Did you know that? Yeah, we do. We're sitting on a budget surplus of almost $14 billion. Hear me. Hear me. $14 billion in surplus. Why can't we make that work? Make that work for the people who deserve to have it work for them. That's money just sitting around, not doing anything, not touching anybody's pocket. Make the money work. Make the investment. Make the investment. Make the investment. They deserve this support. They helped us out. They contributed to our lives. They contributed to our successes. Without these individuals, none of us would be in the position that we're in right now. None of us would be in the position that we're in right now. So let's make it work, folks. The average age of these 63,000 individuals is 83 years. The average age. But I want you to be clear. There are some individuals who are in this category who are reaching triple digits. 100 and older. And they have not gotten any help in a quarter of a century. Help them. Help them. Help them. Come on, come on. I thought this was a rally. Help them. Help them. Help them. Help them. Help them. Because they damn sure helped us, so we damn sure can help them.
All right. That's a way to start things off. Next up, we got another great friend, Representative Steve Malagari, sponsor of the COLA legislation, House Bill 1416. Thank you.
Good morning. Oh, come on. Good morning. First off, I want to say thank you to Senator Hughes for, it's always tough following you. But we love you and we know that you're doing good work. So thank you for your advocacy in the Senate. We appreciate it. We're here, we hear you loud and clear. I'm Representative Steve Malagari from Montgomery County. I represent the 53rd Legislative District, including the communities of Lansdale and Hatfield and Souderton, Telford, Franconia, and Montgomery Townships. Thank you to the Clear Coalition for gathering us here today, and to all of the labor leaders and retirees with us advocating today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm I'm going to take a moment to recognize my House colleagues who are here with us today in no particular order, and please forgive me if I miss somebody. Chairman Eddie De Pashinsky, Representative Melissa Serrata, Representative Arvind Venkat, Representative Nancy Gens, Representative Tom Mahaffey, Representative Bob Mursky, Representative Joe Cerisi, Representative Dave Mattson, Representative Danilo Burgos, Representative Lisa Borowski, Representative and Chairman of Education Peter Schweier, Representative Manny Guzman, Representative Justin Fleming, Representative Joe Hogan, Representative Bob Freeman, Representative Gina Curry, Representative Hill Evans, Representative Fiedler, Bizzarro, Piscatano, Representative Tina Davis. We also have Representative Heather Boyd, Maureen Madden, Lindsay Powell, Napoleon Nelson, Joanny Cepeda Fertiz, Darisha Parker, Patty Kim, and Leanne Kruger. Did I miss anybody? And Representative Jose Giral. Anybody else? Okay, perfect. If somebody else comes, just let me know. So first off, it's both a privilege and a duty to stand before you today as we focus on an issue that strikes at the heart of fairness and responsibility, the well-being of our retired educators, support professionals, and public servants. These individuals are the backbone of our communities, having devoted their lives to educating our children, working in our school districts, serving the public, and strengthening the very fabric of our Commonwealth. Yet after years of dedication, too many of them face an uncertain future, overshadowed by financial insecurity. Our retired educators and support professionals in particular deserve our utmost gratitude and respect. They've shaped generations, imparted wisdom, and nurtured the dreams of countless individuals and countless students. Their influence is immeasurable, but for far too long they have been asked to navigate retirement without the safety net that they were promised. So I'm deeply familiar with the challenge that educators face, not just from my work here in the House and in the General Assembly, but also on a personal level. My mother was an elementary school teacher. Yes. I grew up witnessing firsthand the dedication, long hours, and unwavering commitment she gave to her students and the community that she served in. And I saw how teaching's not just a profession, it's a calling. It is a calling. The absence of a cost of living adjustment, or a COLA, for those who retired before 2001 has left these individuals struggling to maintain their financial stability amidst the rising tide of inflation. Think about it for a second. Since the 1960s, there were 8 COLA increases for our retirees, 8 of them, providing necessary adjustments to pensions to help them keep pace with the cost of living. Prices go up, we all know that. But since 2002, absolutely nothing. 0. Meanwhile, inflation has soared. We've seen that, eroding the value of pensions that were inadequate to begin with. Our retired educators who have given so much to our Commonwealth are being left behind. And this is something we cannot allow to continue. That's why we're here today. That's why we're here advocating today for action and to shine a light on the path forward. House Bill 1416, which we passed out of this chamber, represents with the help of all my colleagues that voted in favor of it, and unfortunately for some of those that didn't, maybe here's another opportunity. This represents a critical step in the journey. It's not merely a piece of legislation, though. It's a moral imperative. It provides a supplemental annuity increase of 15 to 24.5% based on your retirement date. It's modest, but it's essential adjustment to ensure that these retirees can live with dignity. This bill is a lifeline for those who have spent their careers serving others. And it's a testament to our commitment to honor the promises we made to them. We cannot overlook the connection between supporting our retired educators and addressing the critical teacher shortage that we face today. When we fail to provide financial security for those who have dedicated their life to teaching, what message are we sending the next generation of educators? What are we telling them? We must show them that their contributions will be valued. We need to show that not just while they're in the classroom, but long after they've retired. This issue goes beyond mere dollars and cents. It speaks to the values that we hold as a society. Our educators and public servants are more than just workers. They are the stewards of our future, shaping the next generation and ensuring the smooth functioning of our communities and our government. They spent their careers giving. Now it's time for us to give back. They deserve more than gratitude. They deserve the financial security and the peace of mind that their service will not be forgotten. House Bill 1416 does just that. It's not extravagant. It is a fair and overdue adjustment, as we all know, for those who spent their lives ensuring that our kids received the education that they needed and that the public services ran smoothly. These retirees never asked for wealth or opulence. They never asked for that. They're simply asking for fairness, and that is what this bill promises. But let's be clear about something. Passing this bill is only the first step. We got it done in the House. It sits in the Senate. We must also remain vigilant in ensuring that future adjustments to pensions and retiree benefits are made in a timely manner. 20-some years is way too long. The days of ignoring the financial needs of our retirees must come to an end. Inaction has consequences. We know that. And when we already have seen the harm that 2 decades of neglect has caused, my God, where are we? What are we doing? So today I ask each of you to stand with me in support of our retired educators and our public servants. Let's work together to ensure that House Bill 1416 crosses that finish line and passes in the Senate and becomes law. And let us commit to doing more, much more, to guarantee that these individuals receive the support that they need and deserve. So I'm asking you today, everybody here in front of me, contact your senators, engage your communities, and make it known that this issue cannot wait any longer. Time is running out. The legislative calendar is nearing the end. The time to act is now. So in closing, I want to leave you with this thought. The measure of a society is how it treats those who have given the most. Our educators, our support professionals, our public servants, and all of our retirees have given their careers, their energy, and their passion to making our Commonwealth a better place. Let us honor their legacy by ensuring that they can enjoy their retirement with the security that they so rightfully deserve. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Before I yield this platform, I want to recognize Chairman Dan Deasy, also a sponsor of this legislation, Dan Williams, Casey Tomlinson, Mary Isaacson, and Dan Miller, who are with us here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good job. We are so appreciative of all the legislators that are here today to show their support. We have one more great legislator that's going to be speaking to you all. Senator Katie Muth, who is sponsor of the COLA legislation, Senate Bill 952. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm State Senator Katie Muth, and I'm honored to be standing here with my colleagues in support of this incredibly important initiative that we all know should have been taken care of quite some time ago. I want to start by thanking PSEA for the invitation to be here today, and thank all of our retirees, advocates, and legislators that are here to call on the General Assembly, specifically the Senate Republicans, to finally provide a cost of living increase to both PSERS and SERS annuitants. And I also want to thank all of our retirees and advocates here from the AFL-CIO, AFSCUF, ASME, SEIU, UFCW, and the PA Association of School Retirees, and the PA Association of Retired State Employees. I think this is a true example of unity and solidarity when it comes to backing other workers and former workers. So it's amazing energy that I do believe will drive this initiative to the finish line. Retirement is something that we all look forward to. It's part of what we work hard for, right? We think that this is at the end of your career, you have this time in your life to enjoy your golden years and rewards for decades of hard work, dedication, and in this case, public service. Unfortunately, here in Pennsylvania, our retired educators, school personnel, state and municipal workers, particularly those who retired before 2001, are struggling and unable to enjoy their retirement, realizing that their earned pension benefit is clearly not enough to keep pace with the rising cost of living in our Commonwealth. I also think that it is atrocious that anyone should live their final years, or even just the retirement years, could be a long time in stress and anxiety. And my grandmother would be 95 right now. She passed when she was 91. And she was a PCERS annuitant. She worked over 30 years in the Greater Latrobe School District. And was a baker. She and her colleagues baked all the rolls, cinnamon rolls, bread, cookies for the entire school district, and she worked her tail off. And I will tell you that she was down to the last penny on her last day. And you know, she did not go to high school. She worked since she was in 8th grade. And to know that that was the way, you know, you're down to that last penny is completely preventable. And back then, I did not understand all the things I know now as a senator. When she would open up the envelope from PCERS and say, my health care went up, they're taking more from my pension, and now that I serve on PCERS and I'm a senator, I fully understand that and think of her every time that we talk about this issue, and the many, many more annuitants who are still here with us in this Commonwealth struggling to make ends meet. And I will say that there are some Montgomery County and Southeast PA legislators behind me, and they all know what Mitzvah Circle is. Mitzvah Circle has helped the Southeast region, helped anybody in need. And I mean from a plethora of situations: domestic violence, evictions, seniors. I was there volunteering the other day, and the woman working next to me, you get like a story about the person, you pack a box for them on the things that they need. And she said, oh dear God, this person is my neighbor. And she said she's 92 and she's a retired school teacher. Needed clothes, food, all of these things, and thank God she's still able to stay in her home. But these are people amongst all of us in all 67 counties who are literally hanging on by a thread. As you heard, there is legislation that is waiting to be voted on in the Senate, and Senator Kaine and I also introduced several bills that would provide a much needed and long overdue cost of living adjustment for Pennsylvania's retired school employees and our state workers. We have five different Senate bills with an array of options so that everyone who's at the table, and Senator Hughes, who was here, knows that this is a negotiation. So here are all these options for you, and we have not voted a single one of those bills out of committee. So earlier I heard Representative Malagari say that you should call your senators to get his bill moving out. Call Senator Hutchinson. He is the majority chair of the Finance Committee, and you should call him. Don't call me, call him. Call him and say, Senator Hutchinson, there are people in your district that need this COLA. And as a friendly reminder, legislators get a COLA. Yeah, we do. So it's real rich for somebody who has the power in the Senate rules to move these bills and sit on them. You are actively allowing people to sit in poverty, to sit in angst and stress and anxiety because they have not been given this cost of living adjustment in over 20 plus years. Again, I need you all to rally the troops, make these calls, because yesterday I walked down that hallway and I heard a lobbyist speak to another person on my staff that said, we're going to get this COLA thing done before the end of the year. And you want to know what that lobbyist said they heard, it won't be a problem for that much longer. So is the majority assuming that as the people continue, as the numbers dwindle, that we don't have to take care of these people? That is complete BS. And so that shows you where we're at. This is a fight. It's our fight to win, but we need all of you to make those phone calls because this is a worthy, necessary, long overdue effort. And we know that there are the funds to do it. It's how you prioritize the people's money, and I think I'm standing with a wonderful group of humans that support the idea of using the people's money to help people. And I hope that you will all join in that call to action. And I say thank you very much for everyone for being here today. And thank you to my House and Senate colleagues for being here. And I don't have to introduce. Okay, I didn't know if I was introducing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our legislators. I think they said it pretty well, but we're going to actually hear some stories from some pre-Act 9 members. And I think it's really going to bring the point home. So with us first is Robert McVeigh. He's a pre-Act 9 retired educator from Franklin Area School District. Robert.
Robert! Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Robert McVeigh, a retired elementary school teacher and principal from the Franklin Area School District. That's over between Pittsburgh and Erie, western part. I'm also a veteran, having served 4 years.
Thank you.
In the United States Navy, including 1 year Vietnam. I'm proud to stand up here on behalf of tens of thousands of retired educators and public servants whose voices deserve to be heard. We chose careers in public education and in public service because we wanted to give back to our communities and this, our country. That was true for me. In December 1968, when I was discharged from the Navy, went back to Franklin, married my high school sweetheart, Shelley, and started on the road to becoming a teacher. That was my dream. I enrolled in Clarion State Teachers College, Venango campus, attending classes by day and working full-time at night at Polk State School and Hospital. I knew that a teacher who's passionate about what they do and truly cares about every student's progress and success, that's where the greatest impact is. The magic that takes place between the teacher and the students. We all remember teachers like that. I remember Mrs. Gilmore, my third grade teacher. I came from a family of 9 children. We were poor. I was the first one to graduate from high school. Mrs. Gilmore told me in 3rd grade, "You're smart, Bobby." I'm not smart. But she kept saying, "Yeah, you can do it. You're smart." We owe those educators who make a difference in our lives the dignity and the respect they deserve. I went on to be a teacher. I went on to earn 2 master's degrees. I went on to get principal's certification. "You're smart, Bobby." No. I just had someone plant a seed We all remember teachers like that. I was proud to serve the students and families of Franklin Area School District for more than 3 decades, 32.5 years, while raising my family. Nobody ever got rich in education, but I believe, and I felt then, that I could retire with a pension that would provide genuine retirement security. Throughout my career, the legislature routinely passed cost of living pays every 3 or 4 years. Those 32 years I was in there, every 3 or 4 years we'd get a cost of living adjustment. So there was no reason for me to believe any different than that. But that all came to a screeching halt when I retired in 1998. Not long after that, the legislature passed Act 9 of 2001, enhancing the pensions in Pennsylvania. Those of us who retired didn't get a dime of those pension enhancements. We were already retired with our smaller pensions, and that was that. So your pension's based on your salary, your length of service, and a multiplier. When I retired, the multiplier was 2. So you take your final salary and length of service and plug in that multiplier, and that becomes what your pension amount is. Act 9 increased that multiplier to 2.5, and for legislators, to 3.0. For those of us retired, we didn't even get our COLA anymore. We'd been getting the COLA, like I said, 3 or 4 times a year, so it wasn't an enhancement for me. 26 years it's been since I retired from the classroom. 26 years, I've not had a penny increase in my pension amount. It's the same amount as it was the day I retired in 1998. Just imagine going to the grocery store today to buy a tomato or an onion or hamburger, anything, using money from 26 years ago. Can't do it. It is impossible. I'm standing here to tell you it's impossible. I cannot live on my education pension. Can't do it. So what does that mean to me and my family? Yard sales, garage sales, thrift store clothing. What happened to my retirement? Shelley and I would have loved to have lived in Franklin the rest of our lives. Couldn't do it. We'd been there for, I don't know, 28 or 29 years, something like that, raised our kids there. We have 2 adopted boys. We adopted one boy when he was 3.5. He's now 53. And our youngest one came by 4 years later. He was an infant. Raised them mostly in that house. Had to sell it. Had to figure out how I was gonna, it's a jumble thing. You rob from this hand to pay this hand, over and over and over again. So we sold it, moved to Florida, and we now live in a house trailer. Because of rising taxes, grocery costs, insurance, tires for the car, registration, you name it, everything has gone up since I retired. My dream of becoming a teacher turned into a nightmare of poverty because of the legislature's failure to act. It is shameful. Let me be clear, I'm not looking for a handout. I'm simply asking the legislature to recognize what we're going through, take responsibility, and pass a long overdue cost of living adjustment for pre-Act 9 people like me. Otherwise, who in their right mind would want to be a teacher in Pennsylvania? There's nobody going to come here if they get a classroom and they enjoy what they're doing, and then at the end of the day, dump them off. Young people need to know that their elected leaders have their backs. And so do retirees. Retirement should be a time of joy, not regret. I can't help it. I regret that we weren't able to keep our home in Franklin. I regret that vacations are only memories of a former life. On December 21st, coming up here another couple months, Shelley and I will celebrate our 56th anniversary. I'd love to take her to a nice restaurant, but that won't happen because we barely have enough money to buy that bag of groceries. To the legislatures in this building, hear my story and do the right thing. We're not going to be around forever. Take a stand now and show us that you care. Let us live out our years feeling appreciated. We deserve that much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll do that next. Powerful story, very powerful. Up next we have Jeannie Weaver, President of the PA AFSCME Retiree Chapter 13. Jeannie.
Good morning. My name's Jean Weaver. I'm President of Chapter 13 of the Retired Public Employees of Pennsylvania. I'm also retired from the Commonwealth after 36 years of service. We represent more than 10,000 retirees who made Pennsylvania happen. We dedicated our lives to serving the citizens of this Commonwealth. We're now senior citizens, but we're still union strong and mad as hell that we've gone for 20-some years without a retirement increase. And that's why we're here today. We're demanding action on House Bill 1416, which passed the House of Representatives last November. It now sits in the state Senate while thousands of retirees are struggling to keep up with the cost of living, some of them falling into poverty. From 1968 to 2002, the General Assembly passed COLA legislations every 4 to 5 years. But now the General Assembly hasn't approved a COLA since 2002. Since 2002, the cost of food has increased 88%. The cost of housing, 85%. And the cost of medical care, 111%. And since 2002, pension benefits for our pre-Act 9 retirees have increased 0%. The average pension benefit for state and school employees who retired before 2001 was less than $20,000, and their average age is 83. House Bill 1416 would provide relief to nearly 69,000 retired public servants who dedicated their careers to the Pennsylvania citizens and students. Inaction from lawmakers has forced thousands of seniors, people who did everything right, who served their community, and now we're asking them to push themselves right into poverty. And by the way, it's been mentioned here before, but I'll mention it again. Pennsylvania lawmakers get an annual cost of living increase tied to the inflation rate. Meanwhile, many of those same legislators oppose an increase for our state retirees after more than 2 decades of inaction. Providing a cost of living adjustment recognizes the service that retirees provided to our state and its citizens, and helps ensure that we receive a fair retirement income. But this is also about our current workers. The Commonwealth has a hiring and retention crisis, and a COLA can help attract and retain a strong workforce for our state. State jobs have been viewed as stable, financially secure employment options, but that reputation is being damaged by the lack of a COLA in over 20 years. Passing a COLA would send a message to all Pennsylvanians that the Commonwealth employment still offers potentially lifetime stability. A COLA for our retirees would show that Pennsylvania is a state that respects its elderly, that honors its workforce, and moreover, that keeps its promises. And let's remember that the Pennsylvania State Constitution requires that public pensions be protected from impairment. Providing a COLA helps fulfill this legal obligation and ensures that public pensions remain a reliable source of retirement income for public employees. At the end of the day, what we are talking about is public retirees, senior citizens who are active members in their community, beloved in their families, and they have to struggle to make ends meet. They're your parents, your grandparents. They're being forced to make decisions between medicine and meals and the light bill. The reasons are endless, but the point is this. Over 20 years with no COLA. 20 years with no COLA. That is wrong. Yeah. We all know it is wrong. It's time to give a raise to our retirees. And that time is now. Let's pass House Bill 1416. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today, now. Yes. Thank you very much.
Also with us, we have Representatives Robb, Brennan, and Haddock with us, so thank you very much for being here. Up next, Patty Deffabaugh, Chair of SCIU 668 Retiree Committee. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here with all of you. My name is Patty Deffabaugh, and I lead SEIU Local 668's Retired Committee. Our retirees dedicated our careers to public service, working to provide essential resources and services to vulnerable Pennsylvanians. I spent 32 years working for the Blair County Assistance Office, and I was the long-term care supervisor, and I was fortunate to retire in 2019 with a pension that my union family has fought to protect. My message today is simple. Everyone has the right to retire with dignity. The rising costs of living have made life difficult for all of us. For more than 20 years, Pennsylvania's public sector retirees have had stagnant fixed income. After spending decades working to support their families and vulnerable members of our community, many public sector retirees living on a fixed income have had to make difficult decisions about necessities in their lives. Can I buy enough food for the week? What prescriptions do I need the most? What can I push off for another month? Some worry about staying in their lifetime home. Some take on a part-time job, and others are unable to do so due to health issues. Many of these retirees are in their 80s and 90s. These retirees worked for decades expecting that doing so would allow them to retire and provide their own necessary living expenses. These workers provided essential services, food stamps, heating assistance at county assistance offices, vocational rehab counselors, unemployment compensation workers, and area and agency workers, as well as the prison workers. Now, many retirees find themselves in need of help. What should be their golden years? Last fall, I was here at the Capitol, along with a lot of these other people, asking for this cost of living adjustment to increase the state and county retired workers' pension. Our union president, has also shared stories of myself and other retirees with legislators. After working in public service for 25, 30, or 35 years, many retirees from the public sector receive less than $20,000 per year. It is time to ensure public service retirees and the teachers have a pension that covers basic living expenses. And as was mentioned before, in 1995, the General Assembly amended the Public Compensation Law, which gave lawmakers a yearly cost of living adjustment that is determined by this Consumer Price Index. Lawmakers in the state legislature have also approved their own pay raises multiple times since the last increase for retiree payments. More than 20 years, 2 decades. How can we justify to our senior citizens that they do not deserve the same consideration as their elected leaders? Last year in November, the House passed Bill 1416 to enact this and approve this COLA. Today, I'm asking senators to pass Senate Bill 951 and 952, sponsored by Katie Muth and her co-workers. Now, send these bills to the governor's office, call Senator Hutchison. I think we should bombard his phone, and I ask all elected leaders that are officially gathered here today around me in this building to pass that COLA that helps all of us retire with dignity.
Thank you. And to round things out today, we have Kristen Holgis, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Association of School Retirees. There you are. Hi.
A cost of living adjustment for our school retirees is long overdue. It has been more than 2 decades since the last increase. They have lost at least half of their purchasing power, if not more, since retiring. Many have to rely on food banks for their meals, and others had to sell their homes. since the money is not there to give them an increase. We believe that the money is there to give them an increase. Many of our retirees feel the legislature is waiting for them to die. Our retirees dedicated their lives educating and giving to their communities and continue to do so in their retirement. When our legislators consider our COLA proposal, think about this. The average pension is under $19,000. That is what Pennsylvania legislators received in raises over the past 3 years. We are asking our retirees to live on that. We all deserve to live in dignity and with respect. Please pass the COLA legislation for our retirees.
I think we owe it to our retirees in the room. One big round of applause. Thank you for serving our Commonwealth. That concludes our program for today. I want to take a moment just to thank those retirees, our advocates, and especially our legislators that were joining us today and speaking, as well as those who are showing their support. They have been instrumental in their advocacy to get this COLA for our public sector retirees. So again, thank you very much and have a great day.